Hello everybody and welcome to the Learn Dota 2 League Season 15, Week 3. If you're wondering why we're at the end of pick phase, well, I had this issue where every time I hit my push to talk button it would make the game lag for a frame. Because, well, to make a long story short, it's the same on my recording software as it is in game, and in game it was interpreting it badly for some reason. I'm also alone, because, well, my upload speed right now is 0.02 mbps. So, I can't exactly get on the board and start casting with anybody. It requires screen share action. So, for now, you guys are just going to be living with just me. Here's my thoughts on everybody's drafts. I liked what the original OD draft looked like a little bit more than the way it turned out. I understand that Iceman probably didn't want to run the Viper against the Puck. Um, I understand Iceman probably didn't really want to pick Viper at all, but I like the concept, at least, of the Dawnfire. Whoa, that was a bit interesting. Like the concept of the Dawnbreaker Snapfire lane quite a bit more than I like the concept of the Snapfire with Viper lane. It should still be okay. I just don't think it's going to be quite as good. It's going to be a bit harder to put the boots down on this, which should otherwise be a fairly weak Riki and Spectre lane. The Riki smoke clouds are going to be a very, I mean, obviously it's to support Riki, what else are you going to do? But the Riki support clouds are going to be a very big part of this lane. G-Rav is going to be needing to hit some really goddamn good smoke clouds here. Because if he just kind of drops one and Snapfire and Viper are out of it in a half second, things are not going to go well in any case. Would have been nicer with a Dawnbreaker there, but you do what you gotta do sometimes. The Bristle is interesting. I feel like the early game for this Bristleback is going to be really hard, though. Playing against Mirana is kind of rough for Bristle. You're always running into danger with those really big stuns, and usually that would already be kind of enough for you. But you also have the Puck Silence and the Dream Coil. You have the Riki Smoke Cloud. A silenced Bristleback is not doing anything for you in a fight. As unfortunate as it is to say, that's pretty much the long and short of it. In fact, they're actually going to be really vulnerable to these silences in the first fights of the game, as you've got both Bristleback and you've got Viper, who have that exact same weakness. If you silence them, they are contributing almost nothing. Other than that, in particular, though, I think I like the OD lineup a little bit more. The Muertas lineup doesn't really add up into anything. It just kind of feels like there's 5 heroes that they like to play. There's no real combos. There's a bit of counterplay to the enemy team, but not much. And why are you here, Devirus? Are you crazy? They switched their safe lane and their off lane here. Okay.
No.
Well, I really just don't understand that at all. I gotta be honest. Immediately, this is probably a better lane for those two to play into than that one is. You really sure you want to play against a Bristleback and Treon Protector lane with no silence? Well, you got the Smoke Cloud. But that's not going to be a silence Bristle's going to care about for more than 2 seconds in the context of a lane phase. In a fight, maybe. But in lane, really got to question that a bit. But either way. Let's go down for the roll call here. So for Los Muertas, pause 1, you've got Devirus on the Spectre. Pause 2, you've got Captain of the Team Cheeseburger on the Puck. By the way, the Puck was a really good pick. Pause 3, you've got Turtles on the Beastmaster. Oh, they also first banned the Broom Mother, shockingly. Pause 4, you've got Space Cowboy on the Mirana. And pause 5, you've got G-Raff on the Riki here. And they did lane swap this time, which is why I'm calling this as the safe lane. So if you're watching this as your first experience with this team, don't get confused.
Has been killed.
As for the Outworld Destroyers, pause 1, you've got Kid Dynamite on the Bristleback. Pause 2, you've got Iceman on the Dawnbreaker. Pause 3, you've got Vex, who's about to vibe all over everybody. on the Viper. Pause 4, captain of the team, you got Boss. And pause 5, you've got Slizzy, who I believe is standing in this week. I'm not really sure what the situation with this pause 5 on this lineup is, but either way, Slizzy is here on the Treon Protector. Certainly you have to favor the OD lanes here, if nothing else. I mean, Puck into Dawnbreaker, pretty good for Dawnbreaker. She's going to be able to get a lot of just very free harassment on Puck. Her natural tankiness is going to make Puck pretty... Ooh, this is getting close. This is getting dead! Oh, good thing I was talking about this matchup, huh? Yeah, Puck versus Dawnbreaker. Gotta favor the Dawnbreaker here a little bit, especially on the X Factor that I don't think Cheeseburger is a Puck aficionado. I'm not 100% on that, but I'm decently confident that he is not a Puck man. But the thing that Puck just doesn't like is people who just don't have to care about her. People who are going to be able to just keep pressure on, keep the offensive up, just keep doing a lot of damage, more than Puck's going to be able to sustain off, right? You know, heroes like the Kunkka, heroes like the Dawnbreaker. So nothing else, he got that going. Now this is, okay. Let's take another look at this. Yeah, Boss is just sticking around here, trying to get some transfer of funds going here to Vex, who he believes could get both of these kills, though I'm beginning to get less and less confident about that. Maybe! Okay, Vex does get the double there, but unfortunately it is the post-mortem double. Still, nothing terribly bad for the Viper there. He's probably walking away from that on top. The, losing the XP is the biggest factor in that lane, but Viper's already level 4. He's gonna be okay. As I said, though, this off lane that they're facing, or this safe lane, Freudian slip, that Spectre and Ricky are facing is almost an off lane in and of itself. I mean, aside from the fact that it's double melee, which makes this a quad melee lane, aside from that fact, really, there's just no other way that it's in these guys' favor at all. Boss attempting to go for the transfer of funds here again, but this time a little bit less successfully. Space Cowboys able to use the wand there. Get out of jail free. Everybody in this lane now very low. Viper's gonna take himself an arrow, but really not take any pain from it because he's Viper. Just 15 damage keeps Moran out of the grave there. Viper is gonna go down. Unfortunately, Boss did not have the TP back into this lane, or else that could have been a very different story. So if nothing else, this off lane so far in the safe lane is going well for the Beastmaster and the Mirana, and the way that Beast is 1-1 and 3. Doesn't really have anything, oh no, 3-1 and 1, sorry. Doesn't have much to say in terms of the last hits, but that XP advantage is going to start making things worse and worse as time goes on. I think Vex maybe needs a little bit of patience here. I think if Vex stops tanking creep waves like this, because you don't really want to lose half your HP casually on a wave. Like, I think at this point you probably would just rather have it under the tower. But, yeah, I think if Vex holds off just a little bit here, finishes off the Wraith Band, maybe gets a second small item here, then this strategy is going to work out really well against him. But if he keeps just trying to, the deny on the board there, if he just keeps trying to fight fate here, I think it's not going to work out that well for him. You know, once you kind of prove how a fight is going to go in this right conditions, it's pretty much just always going to go down like that until you change the factors of it. I hate to nitpick as well, but I'd really much rather see a Null Talisman or a Ring of Basilius on the Viper than the Mango Horde. You have a stun here. Turtle's looking very dead. Yep, it's gonna go down here. We have the living armor on Viper.
There's a difference between being a person and being
He's going to get the revenge ult on Space Cowboy, leading to the kill. Post-mortem there again. It's a bit unfortunate for Viper. I feel like almost all of Viper's victories so far... Okay, glyphing just to troll Snapfire here. I feel like almost all of the victories so far for Viper have happened while he's been actively inside the grave. I'm trying to figure out exactly why that dire glyph just happened. I'm guessing probably to try and give Dawnbreaker the edge for a play there, but it didn't actually end up working out as that wave at mid for Radiant had pretty much the same amount of XP, or HP rather. Putting a lot of fire on Viper here, but they might be paying for it really soon. Turtles is gonna go down. Just instantly. Not how you want the first Beastmaster's show to go. And Space Cowboy could definitely be in a bit of danger here if he shows up on Viper's field of vision here. Viper just kind of goes out, ults, and just hits Mirana maybe one time, then she's definitely dead. Would be good if boss is a little closer to this, but looks like they're not really that interested in this play. One interesting thing that has happened is that at top, the lanes here have been just casually farming up. Bristleback is leading by 10 last hits and 4 denies. Lyra's gonna pop the Blade Mail here. Gonna pop the wand. That's definitely an early wand pop if you're going up against the Bristleback. Thing is, you want to wait as late as you kind of can there to go, or else that's gonna happen to you. Bristleback gonna get the kill. He's getting a little cocky sticking around here, but he should be fine. Overall, that's definitely a win for the Bristleback there. Getting a kill on Spectre at 9 minutes is always a big objective. I don't care where either you or she are. She is, rather. Maybe you or she would be. And forcing a rotation there from Puck, who cannot just, has only just now gotten back to lane and is 1 TP poor, 1 ult poor, and looking actually in a bit of danger here.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
How to use a Fairy Fire. Looking, yep, dead. Been a pretty monstrously bad lane for Puck so far. While Puck was a great pick for her impact in the mid game, I gotta say, this already kinda bad lane for Puck is going even worse than perhaps it should have been. First Moonlight Shadow of the game is, I think, mostly there just to protect Mirana, which is always a little tragic. Not seem like anybody else is in any real danger. I like how I look at Ricky as if he's going to ever be a benefactor of Mirana ult. The Blade Mail use on Spectre is creative, but it really isn't actually getting anything done for her right now. The Elite Sheet is just counteracting basically everything it does with the healing factor. Phase once again slowing down. The gap between Bristleback and Spectre is keeping relatively consistent, but notably growing are gaps between the competitors in the other 2 lanes. Dawnbreaker now 13 last hits up on the Puck, 9 denies. Viper is now ludicrously far ahead of this Beastmaster, who just really isn't having a good lane. Has had some success in the fact of his kills, but ever since the end of those first couple of minutes, ever since Viper really did finish up an item here, which was Power Treads, not Wraith Band. Please disregard me. But ever since Viper finished up his item, it seems like it's been kind of all downhill from there. Cheeseburger got a gank, and the ultimate result of it is that he died, which is just as bad as a... Okay. Alright, that's good. G-Raf there trying to use the invis to get some dodges out. That was a tragic cookie. If that happens just a second sooner, I think that's actually a kill on Davi there, as Viper has Viper Strike ready and Spectre has really nothing left to get around that.
Radiant's
But as I
middle
was
tower
saying,
is under attack.
yeah, they pulled in rotations there to mid, and 2 of the 3 rotations, well, not 2 of the 3 rotations, 2 of the 3 people in the lane for that lineup died.
Tower is under
Muertas are starting to really lose this early game in a pretty big way. If you look at the net worth chart here, it's not really favoring them at all at the moment. Now, this Muertas lineup does probably scale a little better than the competitors.
Dire's
Probably
bottom
scale a
tower
little
is
bit
under
better
attack.
than OD here, but not by much. It's going to be a really, really long time before they start taking an advantage.
Dire's bottom
And you know,
tower has fallen.
as Looter said in a
Dire's
game that I don't
structures are
think
fortified.
ever made it to air, you know, you don't, as a team, you
Dire's
probably
top
don't
tower
really want to
is under
hear,
attack.
oh yeah, we'll win this game if we can only push it to 90 minutes.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Ooh,
Dire's
could be big.
top tower is under attack.
ooh.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Barely a whiff on that shotgun there. You find the tree here. So this is going to use his ult to try and just get out of here alive.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Puck's gonna actually stab and come back in. Trying so hard to kill the Cheeseburger here, they just can't do it. Kind of ironic. That's the power of the Ricky in this mid-game, power of this lineup in the mid-game. Just being able to make that big no-go zone where you're not going to be able to really operate. It's ultimately an advantage for the Radiant here, ultimately an advantage for Muertas, though. They did call a heck of a lot of people here just to get some support kills and no real progress on this tower that Treant is protecting. Oh, Treant's going to be protecting that top T1 a little bit more than he's going to be protecting that mid right now. I really don't understand why this man is here, unless I guess we're going to be just going all in trying to get the kill on the bristle, but I mean, that is such an impossible ask. Just look what happened the moment you tried that. 5 at top now
Radiant's
for
middle tower is
Muertas.
under attack.
Beastmaster is the first to fall. Ricky very soon to follow. Yep, down he goes. And now the 5 are just running away. Gonna be running, in fact, right into Viper. Gonna be taking quite a chunk off of Mirana's HP bar, but without any support and with no... Huh? Okay. Puck got the mega kill and died.
Radiant's
a bit
top
interesting.
tower is under attack.
Kind of got the suicide attack there. I think that's actually probably worthwhile for the Puck. Yeah, walks away with more money than... oh, actually slightly less money than the Dawnbreaker may, but that's over the course of 3 kills for Dawnbreaker and the 1 for Puck. This team is going to have no tower pushing ability whatsoever, though, until the Viper gets his shard, which luckily he's going to be doing as soon as humanly possible here, which is good. Vex knows how you don't get yelled at by me if you play this hero.
What sort of prize is this?
I'm not going to say anything like I recently played a game as Viper where I got the shard as soon as possible and then ultimately solo killed almost every single objective on the map as a result of it. But that did potentially happen. All I'm saying, it's a pretty good shard.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack. Radiant's
Tower
middle
getting knocked
tower
over
has
here.
fallen.
Now that the Viper does have
Radiant's
that
middle
shard, though,
tower
this
is under attack.
team's pushing ability is going to actually get considerably
Dire's
better.
top tower
And you're
is
also
under
going to
attack.
have a third source of armor break here, which is going to make these early right-click fights against these guys really miserable.
Dire's top tower has
The
fallen.
Virus might regret sending out that Q pretty soon. They walk into this camp. They found her. Well, unfortunately, they found her at the exact worst possible time, as she was just ending the Q there. She's a bit unfortunate. I don't think she's a realistic objective anyway. I think she can just jump to top on Bristle and be fine, but still, it is a bit sad. And Bristle's going to lose his courier, which is a bit
Dire's
annoying,
middle tower is under
as
attack.
you can see here, he's very close to the Ags. Just gonna put him back on it a little bit. Gonna walk right into an arrow here.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
I think they have psyched themselves out. Going to be briefly frame dropping here as I check the recording, make sure everything is going on. It's not your screen, that's just what happens when you tab out of the Dota replay client. Anyway, as you can see here, I think they psyched themselves out a little bit when it comes to the Bristleback. I think they've kind of convinced themselves that this is sort of a no-hope endeavor for them. Vex, you got the shard. Vex, you got the shard, bro. Vex. Please. Please, I beg of you.
Radiant's bottom tower
Read
is
what
under
shard
attack.
does, don't just buy it. Oh, bro. It's okay, because this tower is just gonna die anyway, but you're using a lot of time extra that you didn't really need to there, unfortunately. It's okay, eventually Vex is just gonna turn that on and forget he has it.
For the hunt.
Well, rip to that random golem. 3 and under club for OD is here. The Viper, Dawnbreaker, and the Treon Protector. Like I said in the pick phase you didn't get to hear me in, the Tree Snapfire combo does have a lot of very nasty potential, and Dawnbreaker getting involved with it definitely be nasty here. Spectre is trying to climb these rankings. It's not coming out fast, but it is coming. And as I said, though it is quite a... Oh, the Centaur could not be saved. Well, it is a long way out if they do take this game to
Dire's top tower is under
where it
attack.
ends. Or where it could feasibly end. They do take this game out as long as possible. It's going to be a bit hard for this lineup to actually turn this around. Which is why they're going to just completely demolish this T2 bot here. This is a great pushing combo. The Bristleback is able to face tank and do a lot of damage. The Snapfire and Viper are able to shred the tower's armor, just make it miserable. That had to have been less than a minute in length of siege, and that was contested too. That was not just given to them for free. So that's a good way to take the advantage, any advantage that Spectre is getting right off of her. Take any momentum off. Just in the course of being able to start putting the pressure on, take the XP advantage off. Viper is probably in a lot of trouble here. Viper's probably dead here. Especially if he just eats the full arrow. I'm really not sure why he thought that was okay. Like, even if you couldn't see, you had to know that was coming. A bit unfortunate. Specialist dropping for the Radiant, which could be quite interesting for them. Snapfire is now going to try to find out with her face exactly why Treon Protector just died. Does anybody actually use the grandma, the actual base Snapfire model anymore? I think literally everybody I've seen in LD2 all this season's using the young Snapfire model. It is a bit unfortunate for poor Snapfire.
Oh my.
Gotta get waifu'd by everyone. The 9 million weren't enough. We gotta have another one. 9 million and
Dire's
one
middle
waifus.
tower is under attack.
Now that could be a book. Very bad book, but it could be a book. BKB finished up on the Dawnbreaker here, who gets a high five from Spectre for some reason.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He's gonna keep a little bit of watch of her at the mid T1, but isn't really gonna be able to do that much. I like Ricky getting smoke. Something funny about that to me.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
Well, Turtles has now gone to the Vex school of standing where everybody on the enemy team is without anybody on his own around and dying. The board is going to make this push actually really annoying, though. Here's a fun fact for all you Viper heads out there. If an enemy tower is flipped, your poison attacks on it do actually refresh the duration of the armor break and the debuff on it. So it's not a bad idea to just lob one at the tower just to make sure that the tower break stays on. And once again, with these two heroes here, these things just melt in seconds flat. Spectre's just going to try and pressure top, but this is an impossible team to pressure against, basically.
Well, too bad.
Spectre is not going to win the 1v1 against Viper for a very long time. Now, Spectre and Ricky is a different question. Or Spectre and Puck if they want to get down to that, but the important part is Spectre's not going to win this one. Not for a very long time. What is Bristle chasing here? It's the Ricky. This is not where Spectre wants to be. Cheeseburger does stop the artillery barrage there, but it's probably not exactly at the timing she wanted to do that. They're just dropping everything on Viper, but the magic defense buff on the Viper plus the healing from the Dawnbreaker is just not letting him die. That's about 180 HP, and Puck kills herself trying to knock him out. And then gets tapped as the Dire walks right into Roche. It's a bit risky to let Viper walk into this Roche, because Ricky is just waiting. But if you can keep him in here and keep him not dead. Hey, Ricky's just gonna, like, die if he just stands here. Ricky is just gonna die if he stands here. Oh no, baby! Oh, now it's even worse. Just gets completely shattered. Cannot stand in the Roche pit when Bristleback's doing it. It is not a good idea. Oh, Bristle got the Aegis. I mean, at this point, I don't know if there's any, like, you know, this is usually where I would be like, well, Bristleback is not going to be mortal. He can just sit and look at a tower for days. He's not the mortal one, his team is. He has to back when his team can't support him anymore, not the other way around. But I mean, honestly, at this point, it's kind of starting to look like this has fallen off the rails well enough for Muertas that I don't know what they're going to do.
Bountiful.
I know it's going to be crazy to say this, but maybe the play with Tree, I guess? Just because he's the most likely one to actually die compared to his value in a team fight. You know, very likely that he just gets squashed immediately before he gets to ult or anything. But I mean, even that is really just like a very... I mean, we're talking about putting Aegis on a pos 5 because he's the most likely one to actually die, and nobody else is at this juncture. So, yeah, this Aegis, you just could have put it on anybody. Another uphill push. This is not going to be pretty. Any tower fans at home, please look away now.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Dire's bottom tower
Mirana fans, look away also. Okay, never mind. Mirana fans, you can look. Just gonna barely live. Ricky Smoke Cloud is going to make this push a little bit more annoying. Mirana going to make things a little more annoying. But as I said before, annoying does not win you Dota games. That's all they've been able to do here. The Virus is going to get the Ags here right before the Courier randomly dies. Okay, it's a little sad. Spectre does have the Ags now. Once again, I hate to say it, but I do have to question the Ags purchase at this point in the game a little bit. Like, who is Spectre going to kill here? Like, the Tree, who's really hard to just knock out in a 1v1 before he gets help. The Snapfire, who's just going to use the mobility items to just get away. and is probably not really a worthwhile target anyway, or any of the 3 cores which you can't kill. You know, you get the axe to mostly to 1v1. Just try to find somebody walking out of vision, disrupt that. Really can't do that very well in this lineup, unfortunately. And even the secondary ideas, like using it as a basically a second little ult, would be kind of bad. This is probably like the best possible usage of this, you know, trying to use it in conjunction with others for picks, but you're playing with Snapfire, or not Snapfire, playing with Dawnfire on the enemy team, you can't exactly just get easy picks like that. This is not a good snap ult.
They got us.
Would have been better the other way around, but I think it's fine. Spectre dead again. Spectre 03 and 4 at this point. Titan Sliver found. I bet Bristle wishes he had that. Or does he? Let's see what he's got. Yeah, he probably wishes he had that. Mindbreaker's neat and all, but it's probably better on this guy if you have it. Bristle's now gotten a Skull Basher. Is closing in on Abyssal if he wants to get that.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Without Viper and Snapfire here, this T1 is taking about as long to kill as the T3s were with them.
Radiant's top tower
Well, it does go
has
down in
fallen.
the end.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified. Radiant's top tower is
I'm going to try and race objectives here. The Dire should have no issue letting that happen. Speaking of things to not let happen, though, do not let the Spectre Illusion just randomly kill Viper.
Dire's middle
Just
tower
because
has fallen.
it shouldn't be able to do it doesn't mean it can't if you let it.
Radiant's top tower is under attack. Dire's middle tower
Picks
is
up
under
a Sav
attack.
here. Aegis has just expired.
Dire's
Not terribly
middle tower
surprising.
has fallen.
And as predicted, they just... Okay. Hold on now, what was Turtles doing wherever Bristleback is right now? What is this? An interesting play there.
Obsess me.
This is also kind of interesting.
Shadows.
I feel like this team does not really have great responses to the Murana leap. I feel like it just kind of, you know, Murana leaps and then she gets away. Especially if she uses ult and nobody sees it. And Bristle's picked up his Abyssal Blade now. Is pre-30-minute Abyssal Blade. Radiant now hold a... Okay, well, this certainly sucks for Murana. Goodbye.
Who wants cookies? Well, too bad.
13k gold advantage for Dire. 13k gold advantage for OD here. Bristleback is 9-0 and 4. Really struggling to think of what Muertas could possibly do to turn this one around. I mean, Bristle's 9-0 and 4. Dawnbreaker's 6-1 and 11, and Viper's 4-4 and 6. And sure, that doesn't look like all that much, but I mean, this is a lineup that should be killing Viper like most times he tries to do anything. You know, his participation in fights this game should be basically just ult and then die. But that's not how it's going. You know, in large part on just how effective the support line and the Dawnbreaker has been at just keeping him continually alive. Again, the Radiant are just having to try and go just poke objectives here, but the Radiant push is just so much slower than what the Dire can do. They really have no way to slow things down here. Spectre is going to give Snapfire a nice back scratching. Not really going to slow down the siege on the tower here, which is already half dead, even though the wave is dead and it's being very contested, and now it's dead.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Puck, it's a really cool looking ult. I struggle to say that was worth it, but at least it looked cool. And Spectre is in the back line here, just getting torn up by the combo of Viper and Dawnbreaker. Dropping all their buys to try and get something done here. They have gotten the Bristle. This Bristle is, yeah, definitely dead. Iceman ulting just a little too late in. He's gonna get some revenge kills for it, though. More buybacks coming out from the Muertas lineup, which is just gonna push their possible ability to win even further away. It already was going to be a very long time before this Muertas lineup was going to be able to come online or start feasibly turning things around. And every time they drop a buyback to try and push out the game, they just make it worse. They do stave off probably complete defeat, but yeah, I just can't imagine they're that happy with that. Roche back in 30 seconds. The Dire have no idea that's the case. Sharon Protector gonna get his funny meteor hammer. Snapfire gonna pick up a Lotus Orb so they can make a fake Snapfire clone whenever. Hi, Spectre Illusion. Yeah, this is pretty much all this Spectre Illusion ends up being good for this game. It's just kind of poking people in the back. Tell me they all walk away from Roche now. That would be awesome.
Death's
Oh yeah! You'll love to see it. Probably gonna be back soon, I would gather. Yep, everybody walks. The Iceman walks out of the Roche pit with literally 1 second before he spawns, but Bristleback is gonna walk in and see it now. Initially assume it's not there, and then just get to work. All Radiant can really even hope to do during this time is just go push out side lanes a little
Dire's
bit.
bottom tower is under attack.
And again, it is very unfortunate this lineup just doesn't have anything to do in this game. So like I said, I think even though the Muertas lineup is
Dire's bottom tower
theoretically
is under
sound,
attack.
even though it is 5 heroes that fall within these guys, you know, playing fields, and even though these are 5 relatively good heroes at the moment, it really just doesn't feel like a lineup that goes anywhere. Like the only way at all that you have any sort of cohesion on the Muertas lineup is, you know, the Mirana can arrow a Beastmaster ulted target to get some more power play, or the Beastmaster passive can go with the Spectre ult, or just really obvious things like people can take advantage of the Beast ult. But the bottom line is that just really don't have a lineup that's kit to actually win the game. Spectre is going to try and dance around here, but I do not believe her time on this earth is going to be much longer. Bristleback pops BKB. I believe that's his 9 seconds, actually. Oh no, it was his 8. Right in time to get ulted by the Beastmaster, which has to be a little frustrating. But probably not as frustrating as this turn of events is for Spectre, who has the unfortunate consequence of being dead. Here comes the Meteor Hammer just to make this team's push potential even crazier. Another lane of Rax gone down. And just go north to get Megas, I guess.
Top tower is under attack.
He actually right on the money with who he's choosing to go for here. This is a weird scenario. Viper just going back and forth. As the Viper shard does give this team a lot of its really insane push power. But oh no! Oh! Sad for Treon. If that Meteor Hammer went through, man, imagine the reality we could be living in. Iceman's dominating streak has come to an end.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
It's now a 4v5, or yeah, 4v5. Aegis is down. He didn't use even particularly much in terms of getting rid, but we do have the buyback from the Iceman here. Actually going to decline to show up for this, interestingly. Oh no, she did, never mind. Just let the ult go really quickly. Bristleback is just chasing the Spectre all the way back into spawn. Spectre with no buyback. Mirana just dead.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
They're going to be getting back now. They're going to be, as they say, going B. As with the two push power guys on their lineup gone, they don't really feel like they have the ability to continue pressing this out here. I really like the boots of bearing on the Beastmaster in this game. Not just because it alliterates and that's fun, but because it just feels like it's kind of laid out.
Radiant's courier has been killed.
The boots of bearing, unfortunately, appropriately enough, I believe, came at a point in this game at which they will have absolutely no bearing. I believe if they knew that they were going to be on the defensive for the most part in this game, as they undoubtedly did, an alternative probably would have been a little better. This one's actually going to take the Puck ult here. He's going to go for the Treant on the back line, but just get told no, in no uncertain terms, by the Treant Protector. They're going to kill the Dawnbreaker, though, who remains at the racks, while the 3 and 4 are just randomly standing around mid for some reason.
Illusion!
I really wish those two were a little closer for that. I mean, I know they did just spawn, but... the simultaneous leaps is pretty good. Does feel like it would be nice to get a more reliable silence up on some of these heroes. P4 dropping. Havoc Hammer for the Bristleback. Which, that can be fun. Beastmaster is going to go for the pipe here. But man, at this point, this is so too little too late. At this point, magic damage is starting to become a really increasingly small part of this team's damage output. What you really got to be afraid of is Bristleback and Dawnbreaker's Fizz damage for the most part. Which unfortunately, with the way they like to do their damage, there's really not that great of a response for. I guess just Wraith Pact and hope for the best, basically. Hope it just doesn't get shot by the snap immediately, which so far I don't think would be that big of an ordeal, though the Viper might have a bit to say about it as well. Trickster's Cloak could be very good for this lineup. Being able to evade the Dawnbreaker crits could definitely be a big advantage for them. What's that True Strike, actually? I better look. It doesn't say, so I'm going to assume it can miss.
Dire's bottom
Or
tower
rather,
is
I'm going to
under
assume
attack.
if you don't hit it, you just get it
Dire's
with the next shot.
structures are fortified.
But in any case, why did Dire just lift there exactly? Can't really tell. Guess they're just trying to push lanes out. Invasion of the triangle. We're gonna find nobody. Everybody's just kind of cowering at mid right now. Staying behind this line of towers here. Or at least as close to it as humanly possible. Spectre's effective farming range right now feels like one creep camp and like one wave worth of distance of creeps. You're doing a good job trying to keep the top wave pushed out. Unfortunately, as we all know, if this lane gets down here anyway, it doesn't mean much. Actually go up here and see, yeah, this tower, this rack is not back toward right now. They can just get the megas here for free.
Dire's bottom tower
And they do!
has fallen. Radiant's top
And now it's megas.
The Dire now have
This is not a good lineup to try and defend megas. Spectre's gonna try and cut this wave as much as he can, but, I mean, it's really gonna happen here. Well, this is sad.
I'm really freaking out.
I did get spoiled on one thing that happens in this series, and I hope it didn't happen this game because I believe I've missed it if it has. I'm going to be a little jumpy here and check the jungle items. They all seem to be in the right spot. Brave attempt to do something here by Turtles, but I mean, Turtles just dealt out in this game at this point. Really just does not have anything tangible to offer. Bristle going for the Silver Edge, funnily enough, going for the very item that counters him. 20 seconds to Roche is up. I would not guess that Radiant would have the ability to hold off when the Aegis gets out. Wow, this is even sadder. Spectre just getting chased around by the Treant. Spectre actually quite a bit of danger here. Honestly, they could just ult Spectre, just drop the Dawn on her. Well, they're not going to do that. Dawn just did pick up a Bloodthorn there. Or, yeah, Spectre did. Not Dawnbreaker. I don't know which one I said, but if I said the right one, good for me. And look what we're getting. Finally, that Dawnbreaker killing the Spectre I was talking about. Oh man, look at Ricky just melt here. Bristleback is gonna hit ult and look at them.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Not actually do anything.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Hit BKB, not ult, rather. T1 going, or T4 going down. T4 number 1 is what I meant to say. T4 number 2 going down. Beastmaster, very dead. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see any funny Beastmaster ult reflex. And so it goes. As funny as it is, I don't think the kill thresholds here are an accurate assessment of what happened in this game. This just felt like a total stomp. This game feels like, in a fair world, it's like 8-40. Jesus. I mean, like I said, I think the big problem with Muertas is having teams that, you know, everyone goes well with each other. Outside of the pretty nasty matchup against the Dawnbreaker, which I think you can't come back from as Puck, this is a great Puck game, individually, and as a counter to some of these guys. But, like, you go in, you drop the silence, and then what, you know? This team does not really have any team fight capabilities. They're not really the best 1v1 lineup in the world either, because they're very vulnerable to just defensive items. I mean, this lineup, you got 2 different Lotus Orbs, you've got 4 staffs on the Viper, 4 staffs on the Snapfire as well, right? Even if you scream on... And of course you got the Dawnbreaker, who, if you're not going on the Dawnbreaker, is just going to save and bail out whoever you're going for. I don't know. The Muertas lineup just didn't feel good. Felt like the OD lineup had a very cohesive theme. It felt like everybody had chemistry with at least one of the other heroes in the lineup, and it felt like they had a very clear path to what they were doing in the team fights. You have the Tree and Snapfire ults that go solo with each other. You've got the Dawnbreaker ult that can be a high impact on the enemy or a big save for your allies. You've got Bristleback, who's able to just stand in the middle of all of it and just soak up a lot of heat and dish out a lot of damage. And nobody on Muertas reacted to it the proper way. Nobody on Muertas really dealt with it in itemization, and they certainly couldn't do it well through their picks. You definitely had some good play on the Ricky. You definitely had some good play on the Mirana, and some really cool looking Puck ults. And Spectre did the best she could, but like it just felt like, unfortunately for her, there's just not only a game where she didn't have impact, but kind of a game where it almost felt like she really couldn't. Poor Virus. Maybe it all goes back to that weird lane swap they did at the beginning of the game, which, I mean, maybe the Ricky and Spectre into the Viper and Snap would have been theoretically worse, but I just don't know how much worse it could have possibly been. Like, your safe lane totally collapsed. Beast and the Mirana couldn't do anything to them. And Spectre didn't beat Bristleback either. She pretty much just had it exactly as bad in a harder lane to farm and pull in. I don't know. Didn't like that choice. Let's see what happens next time.